Good afternoon, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if probable cause exists for those charges. Probable cause simply means it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred and more likely than not that you're the person who's committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this afternoon, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the prosecution unless and until the state attorney's office is able to prove these charges against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this afternoon. That is your bail or your bond. In most cases, your bond has been set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this afternoon. You do have the right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. I'll solemnly swear or affirm, tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please come forward to the podium. Jessica Allen. Afternoon, Jessica. What's your date of birth?
5/11/1990.
Jessica, the charge is violation of probation pursuant to a warrant signed by Judge Merritt, so he found probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please, sir.
I'll appoint the PD. Bond on the warrant is no bond. I can't change that. I'm going to move your date to the 17th of September. They told you the 13th, but the right date is the 17th. Public defender is going to come see you before you go to court again, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Tony Ann Cook McMahon. Afternoon, Tony. Date of birth?
9/26/84.
All right, Tony, I got 3 charges. We got possession of controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, introduction of contraband. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
A public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. Mr. Larison.
Some recent CT cases permitting unauthorized person to drive a vehicle, adjudication in 2019, adjudication withheld in 2013 for a burg of conveyance where a 4-year probation sentence was imposed, and no other history.
Okay. All right. And Tony Ann, I have an address for you on Blanks Street in Weeki Wachee. Is that where you live?
Yes, that's where I'm living.
All right. How long have you been there?
I've been there for the last, month and a half. I got a job.
Okay. And what do you do for work?
I clean up construction sites.
Okay. All right. On the controlled substance, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. On the introduction at $2,000. On the paraphernalia at $1,000. That's a total of $4,000. Have you back in court on the 11th of September. Very important that you contact the public defender if you're able to bond out, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Tiffany McLaughlin. Afternoon, Tiffany. What's your date of birth?
5/26/87.
Tiffany, the charge is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Private counsel.
Okay. State, would you tell me?
She has had a few Florida arrests but no convictions. In Georgia, in 2018, there was a dismissed driving with license suspended, but no convictions.
Okay. Tiffany, I have an address for you on Sandler Street in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yeah.
And that's where Miss Goulet lives as well?
Yeah.
All right. How long have you been there?
A year and a half.
Do you have a job these days?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I do, sorry, I'm not feeling good. I do, construction as well as she does, but I do actually, cleaning houses,
Okay.
like new homes, new construction homes.
Okay. All right. You set your bond, Tiffany, at $100. However, a condition of the bond is that while this charge is pending, you cannot have any contact with Miss Goulet. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. You don't contact her through any social media. Don't go where she lives. You don't go where she works. You don't contact her through a third person. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond can be revoked, and you can be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact. So if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she's allowed to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and she may ask them to drop the charges, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case or your lawyer tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I have to hold you at the jail today up until 4 p.m., so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked on this charge, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. As far as the address on Sandlore Street goes, you can go by that house one time to collect your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever's there that you need for wherever you're going to go. To do that, however, you must contact the sheriff's office. They'll meet you there with a deputy who will stand by while you get your things and get going where you're going. I'm going to have you back in court on September 6th. Very important that you make sure you tell your lawyer about that court date. Did you have any questions, Tiffany?
No.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brent Cox. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
11/7/73.
All right, Brent. I have a writ of bodily attachment for you out of Citrus County. That means that a child support hearing officer and a circuit judge up there determined that you owe some child support, and they set your cash purge at $1,177. If you happen to have that money, you could pay that and get out of jail here and go to Citrus County and try to figure out what's going on with your child support. If you don't have the money, they'll notify Citrus right away. I'll give them 5 days to come get you. It doesn't take 5 with Citrus. But once you get up there, the judge that sees you there will have the ability to reduce that purge to make it something you can afford to pay, all right?
All right.
Thank you. Michael Elkins. Afternoon, Mr. Elkins. Date of birth?
2/14/79, sir.
All right, Michael, you're here on 2 warrants I signed yesterday because you failed to appear. State, is this something he can resolve?
Your Honor, the defendant can resolve with 10 days jail or a probation offer to resolve both cases. An adjudication of guilt, 6 months probation, fines and court costs of prosecution, or 50 hours community service, or obtain a valid driver's license.
All right. So, Michael, you can resolve these cases today. One way would be with 10 days in the county jail with credit for whatever you got in. The other is adjudication of guilt and 6 months of probation to do community service to get your license back. Does either one of those sound interesting to you?
I'll do the 10 days, sir.
Very good. Let's see. Hang on one second. Michael, it looks like when you first got arrested on the older charge back in December, you did 9 or 10 days back then. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good enough. All right, you understand by entering pleas in these cases, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent. But you're going to give up those rights so we can take care of these today?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Case number 19 CT 98 as to the charge that you drove knowing your license was suspended or revoked. How do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest, sir.
Accept that plea, find it was freely and voluntarily made. I will adjudicate you guilty of the charge. I will sentence you to 10 days in the county jail, credit 10 days served. Fine and court costs is $488 and your cost of incarceration. In case number 19 CT 1727, as to the charge that you drove, knowing your license was suspended or revoked, how do you wish to plead?
No contest, sir.
Accept that plea as well, find it's freely and voluntarily made. Adjudicate you guilty of the charge, sentence you to 10 days, credit 10 days served, fine and court costs is $488. That takes care of both cases, Michael. There's nothing else keeping you in the jail. You'll be released today, all right?
Thank you very much, sir.
Good luck to you. Robert Emery? Emery, what's your date of birth?
2362, sir.
Robert, the charge is trespass. State, is there a resolution on this one today?
Yes, Your Honor. 20 days.
Okay. Robert, if you want to resolve the case today, it's 20 days in the county jail. You got credit for 2 right now. If you'd rather have a chance to speak to an attorney first, you sure can do that. You want to take the 20 days? You want to talk to a lawyer?
If I take the 20 days, I get 20 days, right, sir?
If you take the 20 days, you've got credit for 2. You'll have 18 left to do.
Okay, there's no way of getting out today for time served?
No. They just offered you 20, not 2.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You want to take the
I'll
20?
20 days.
All right. You understand
Yes,
by
sir.
entering a plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, the right to have a lawyer represent you, but you want to give up those rights so we can resolve this case today?
Yes, sir.
Very good. As to the charge of trespassing, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept that plea, find is freely and voluntarily made, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 20 days, credit 2 days served, fine and court costs is $553 and your cost of incarceration. That takes care of it, sir. You just need to finish the time, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Jesse Hunt?
Yes, John.
And Jesse, what's your date of birth?
11/18/78.
Jesse, I have 2 charges today. They're both for commercial burglaries. There's probable cause for both of them. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State what you tell me.
Your Honor, I'm showing
It's
an
got open.
open case, 2019 CF 1069. The date of offense is June 1st, 2019. So the state would be asking to revoke his bond.
So was he, hang on, was that a case where he was actually arrested on the 1st of June? Yeah. From June. Yeah, okay.
And I can go into his history, Your Honor, if the court.
No, that won't be necessary. Hang on. That was 1969. Yeah, case number was right. Yeah, the rest was June. Okay, very good. I'm sorry. And Jesse, did you tell me you wanted the public defender? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Very good. I'm going to appoint the PD on these 2 cases. I am going to leave the bonds per the schedule, which is $5,000. I'm going to move both of these to the 26th of August. That's where your other case is. Then, Job number one when you have pending criminal charges is don't pick up new criminal charges. It appears to me that you have, because you've got that open felony petty theft. So pursuant to Florida Statute Section 903.0471, I'm going to revoke your bond on your older case, the felony petty theft. We're going to hold you without bond on that one for a couple of weeks before you get back in front of Judge Toner on that case, as well as these two new cases. At that time, the judge can reinstate your bond or revisit the bond on that case if he wishes. But you got the PD on all three of them. They're going to come see you before the 26th. That's when you'll be back in court. But at least until the 26th, you're going to be in jail without bond on that case, okay?
We do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Willie Mathis. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
11/22/73.
Willie, I've got three things for you today. The first thing is a warrant that I signed. I found probable cause for one count of armed residential burglary. Then we have a burglary of 2 counts of burglary of a dwelling. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
I'd rather have a court-appointed attorney.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender. State what you can tell me.
Reckless driving adjudication in 2008 on Fort Ritchie, in 05 adjudication withheld disorderly conduct, in DUI adjudication in 2004, adjudication at 97 for a battery, adjudication in Pinellas for a burg, adjudication at 91 for another burg, and 1990 adjudication for a probation violation off of a grand theft adjudication.
Okay. And Willie, I have an address for you on Critter Lane in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
Approximately 12 years.
Do you have a job these days?
No, I'm disabled.
Okay. All right. I'm going to leave the bonds on these pursuant to the schedule and the warrant. That's $15,505 for a total of $25,000. They're all coming back August 20th in front of Judge Toner. Public defender is going to come see you before the 20th. When you, if you don't bond out, if you do bond out, of course, you should contact them right away. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Michael Price. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
4/23/72.
Michael, the charge is violation of an injunction. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you're going to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Private counsel.
Very good. State what can you tell me?
Showing that the defendant does have out-of-state history from Ohio. I see a domestic violence. It says disposition convicted. And it looks to be, and there's also a murder reference in 1999, disposition held, but that's all I have for him.
Michael, I have an address for you on Chambord Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir. That's my shop.
Okay. And you're a mechanic, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Motorcycles.
Okay. Set your bond at $500. Condition of the bond. Is that you have no contact with Anna Hart. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now just so we're clear, that no contact order is separate and distinct from the injunction. So as long as this case is pending, it doesn't matter what happens to that injunction, you're still under my order of no contact. You understand that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You'll be back in court on the 6th of September. Very important when you speak to your lawyer that you give him that date, okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good. David Rodriguez. Afternoon, David. Date of birth?
6/21/70.
David, I got 3 charges today. I've got possession of marijuana, possession of paraphernalia, and driving, a felony driving on suspended license. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
All right, I'll appoint the PD, and then state he's got an open misdemeanor dwellers, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is that something he can resolve today?
He was planning to take a 30-day offer. Well, that was what the judge offered.
Okay. So, David, here's where you're at. Because you've got these new charges and you got that old driving unsuspended, if you plead out to that right now, I'll give you the 30 days. You get credit for 2. If you don't plead out to that, then I'm going to revoke your bond in that case, and we're going to hold you without bond until that case comes back to court, which is September 4th. So you want to take the 30 on that right now, or you want to wait?
I'll take the 30.
All right. You understand by entering a plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, the right to have a lawyer, but you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes, sir.
Case number 19 CT 1314. As to the charge that you drove knowing your license was suspended or revoked, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept that plea, find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty of the charge, sentence you to 30 days, credit 2 days served, fine and court costs is $488, and your cost of incarceration. I'll leave the bonds on these new charges per the schedule, which is $1,000 on the marijuana and the paraphernalia, $2,000 on the driving. That's a total of 4. Obviously, as soon as you complete the sentence on that first case, you'll be eligible to bond out. The new charges are coming back on September 11th. If you're out, make sure you contact the PD. If you're not out there, come see you at the jail, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Will that override the no bond? PC says no bond.
Well, I know, but he put it there because he knew he had an open case, and,
Oh.
and that was inappropriate anyways.
So the RCO'd you.
So I didn't. He took a plea on the case.
That's what I
that he
meant.
could have
I guess
gotten.
the officer did that.
Yes, exactly. You're good, David. Yeah, they don't know they can't do that. Timothy Rundle. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
2/13/81.
Timothy, you're here on a warrant signed by Judge Rupi. She found probable cause for 1 count of criminal mischief. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
I'm a public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State, what can you tell me?
Adjudication for carrying a concealed firearm in 2014. Adjudication in 2014 for paraphernalia. Adjudication in 2002 for DUI and no other criminal history, Your Honor.
And Tim, where have you been staying lately? You've been staying with somebody or living outdoors? What's been going on?
I've been staying at my mother's.
Okay, what's the address there?
It's 4939 Lakewood Drive.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Lawn care. Lawn care.
Okay. All right, Tim, I'll set your bond at $500. I'll have you back in court on September 6th. If you get out, make sure you contact the public defender's office right away, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mark Russo? Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
8997.
Mark, you're here on a warrant Judge Rupi signed. Apparently you failed to appear in her court on the 6th on a charge of no motor vehicle registration. State, is this something he can resolve today?
1 day time served.
All right. Mark, if you want to complete no contest, I'd sentence you to 1 day time served on this, and this would be over with. Is that something you would like to do?
Yes, please.
Very good. You understand by entering a plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, the right to have a lawyer. But you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes, sir.
Case number 19 CT 2204 as to charge of no motor vehicle registration. How do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept that plea. I'll find it was freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty. Sentence you to 1 day in the county jail. Credit 1 day served. Fine and court cost is $488 and your cost of incarceration. But that takes care of it, Mark. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, you will be released today, all right?
All right, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Jerome Spahn. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
1983.
Jerome, this is a probable cause arrest for a violation of community control. There is probable cause for the violation. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. Bond, of course, is no bond. You'll be back in court on September 11th, and the PD is going to come see you before then, okay?
No problem.
Thank you. Clovis Cayenda. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
March 4, 1962.
All right, Clovis, you're here on a charge of driving under the influence. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
I want to put a bond today, sir.
Say that again?
I want to put a bond.
I know, but are you going to hire your own lawyer, or you want me to appoint you?
Oh, no, I need public defender.
I'll appoint the public defender. State what can you tell me?
A DUI adjudication in '07. No other history, Your Honor.
And Clovis, I have an address for you on Glenbrook Avenue. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
14 years.
You have a job these days?
Yes.
What do you do?
I work at doctor's office.
Okay. I'll set your bond at $500. I'll have you back in court on September 6th. When you get out, Clovis, make sure you contact the PD's office right away, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Jay, you got anything else for me?
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.